On the night of our anniversary, I had gone all out. The restaurant was reserved, the cake ordered, and even our closest friends and family were present. It was supposed to be a night of celebration, a reminder of the vows we had once taken. But little did I know, that evening would end up burning into my memory forever, not as a happy occasion, but as the night I discovered the depth of my wife's betrayal. When we walked into the hall together, I held her hand tightly, thinking we were walking into another milestone of our life. She looked radiant, smiling, greeting everyone with charm. I was proud, like any husband would be. But her laughter that night wasn't for me. Her eyes kept drifting towards someone else, a colleague she had invited without even telling me. At first, I thought I was overthinking. She was friendly, maybe too friendly, but she had always been social. Then the moment arrived that shattered every piece of trust one had. In front of everyone, our friends, our family, she leaned in and kissed him as if I didn't even exist. Gasps filled the room, people turned to see my reaction, and I just froze. The man didn't even hesitate. He pulled her close, and she laughed. That laugh. It was mocking, cruel, like a knife twisting inside me. She looked at me and smirked, as though daring me to do something. My chest felt heavy, but I refused to make a scene. I simply turned, walked out of the restaurant, and left her there with him. Everyone thought I had been defeated, broken. Even she believed she had won. But walking away that night wasn't weakness. It was the first step in my revenge. I spent the next few days in silence, letting her think I was too shattered to act. She flaunted her betrayal openly, thinking I was powerless. What she didn't know was that I had already begun preparing the storm that would wipe her smile away. We owned a house together, but the finances were tied mostly in my name. I had built my career with hard work, and she had enjoyed the comfort. Quietly, I gathered documents, secured my assets, and spoke to a lawyer. Every detail of her affair, from messages to pictures, I collected carefully. I didn't confront her yet. I wanted her arrogance to grow so the fall would crush her harder. One evening, she came home late, smelling of cheap perfume and arrogance. She tossed her purse on the couch and said, "You didn't even fight for me. You're pathetic." I looked at her with calmness that only unsettled her more. Inside, I was boiling, but my face showed nothing. She thought my silence meant surrender. The day of reckoning came 2 weeks later. I invited her family, her friends, even some of our colleagues, telling them I wanted to make things right after the anniversary disaster. She arrived dressed to kill, expecting maybe an apology or desperate plea. Instead, I handed her divorce papers in front of everyone and displayed the evidence of her affair on a projector screen. The hall went silent. Gasps, whispers, and then the shame hit her face like a storm. The man she had cheated with? Already married. His wife had also been invited, and she stood up, glaring at both of them. My wife's parents couldn't even look at her. The pride she had once carried vanished instantly. She tried to shout, to blame me, but the walls had already caved in. Her laughter from that anniversary night was replaced with tears and humiliation. I watched her crumble, and I felt no pity. She had mocked my pain, and now she was drowning in her own. After that night, I walked away for good. The divorce was swift, and everything she thought she would get was stripped away. She lost the house, the comfort, the respect of her family, and the man she betrayed me with. She was left with nothing but regret. Meanwhile, I rebuilt my life. Friends supported me, colleagues respected me even more for handling the situation with strength and dignity. I found peace knowing she could no longer hurt me. Revenge wasn't about shouting or fighting, it was about letting her destroy herself while I stood tall. Now, whenever I look back on that anniversary, I don't feel pain anymore. I feel satisfaction. She laughed when I walked away, but she didn't know walking away was the sharpest weapon I had. My silence became her downfall, and my revenge wiped the smile off her face forever. And as for her, she now lives a shadow of her old life. People still whisper about what happened that night. Every time she remembers, she doesn't laugh anymore. She only remembers the day she lost everything because of her arrogance. That is the price of betrayal, and I made sure she paid it.